Hey guys, welcome back to Coach's Corner. This is actually take two. I actually videoed this yesterday, and as always, when I went back to edit it, lighting was off and different things, so I'm really hoping I got myself positioned. I can't do it in my other little corner where I normally do it because my little Ivy bug, when I sit down in that chair, it is just her trigger to jump in my lap. We're going to talk a little bit about triggers, cues, habits today. But first, before I do that, let's do a little housekeeping, as they say. So I want to update you. I want to update you with my own health journey. And then I want to cover something that one of my viewers asked me to cover about the macro counts for different things on programs. So I'm going to go over that really briefly. Okay. My own update. Here we go, guys. My last Coach's Corner, I videoed on April 9th, which was a Friday. And I let y'all know that as of Good Friday, which was April 2nd, exactly a week before, I had lost 4 pounds after my first 4 weeks back on plan. In case you're new to my channel and you don't know my story, I lost 60 pounds in 2019. I gained 23 back in 2020. My name is Melissa. I am an independent coach for Optavia, and this is my story. And so 2021, I finally got into the full program because all I did in 2019 was follow a diet. Hence the reason for the weight gain in 2020 when life went haywire. Okay, so I finally got myself together. It took me a while, took me a few months into 2021 to finally get it together. So I restarted on March 8th. And so, was it March 8th or March 3rd? I can't remember exactly. But as of April 2nd, Good Friday, I was only down 4 pounds. And that was my update last time. All right, that was April 9th. All right, what I didn't share with you guys is I hadn't weighed that week because I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know. So if any of you have ever been there, I've been there too. You know you went off plan, you know you did what you shouldn't have done as far as your health goes, you know, and you just don't want to know. But guess what? Not knowing, that doesn't help. That just keeps you in the dark, and it's always better to have the knowledge. So what happened that week? Well, Easter Sunday, I had done great leading up to Easter Sunday, and then y'all, I just did a stupid thing. I just ate some jelly beans. That's all it was. Just a few little harmless jelly beans. And those few little jelly beans led to a few more jelly beans, led to another thing, and it rolled into the week. And the I wouldn't call it irony, but maybe, my last Coach's Corner, I talked to y'all about the what the heck effect. Well, and I was able to talk to y'all about that so clearly and so strongly. A lot of y'all thanked me for that. And were like, yes, I've been there. I understand that. I relate. Well, I was so relatable because all week I had been pretty much living in the what the heck effect. Even the day I made the video, y'all. So here's what happened. So a couple of days after I made that video, I had a client support call with one of my clients. And she was a little upset at herself because she'd gained a little weight that week. And she's like, you know, I'm in the books, you know, I've been listening to you and I'm in my books and I'm reading and I just don't know what happened. And, you know, so I told her, I said, listen, it's one thing to have the knowledge. It's great to get in these books. But if we don't take what we learn from those books and put it into practice, it does us no good. Duh. You know, so once again, it was a case of Melissa, practice what you preach. So I believe I had that conversation on Sunday with her, Sunday the 11th. And it took me until Tuesday the 13th to get on the scale again. So April 13th, I got on the scale and I had to face the music. And I had gained all 4 pounds back. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, it's kind of embarrassing to admit that to y'all. And I know I shouldn't be embarrassed, it's life. We've all been there, done that. But dadgum, I've been doing it a lot. And so this is what I had to do. And it's part of what we're gonna talk about today. I had to get really firm in my resolve. I had to take myself all the way back to January 2019. Late January, almost February 2019. And I looked myself in the mirror and I said, why are you doing this? What is your why? And I had to remind myself of my why. And I looked at this picture. This was me the day before I started in 2019, started on plan. And I really looked at my face and I asked myself, is that where you want to go back? Do you want to go back to that pain that you see in her face? Is that what you want? Well, what came out of my mouth was a very loud, resounding no. That is not what I want. So then what do you want, Melissa? I want optimal health. All right, so what did I do? I didn't stay in my pity party. I didn't keep on with the what the heck. Nope, I rolled up these sleeves. I got real with myself. I got firm in my resolve, and I got myself back on the 5 and 1. I called my coach, my daughter. I told her what I was gonna do. We made a plan. She said, Mom, 80 ounces of water every day, no matter what, 80 ounces of water. Draw the line in the sand, Mom, the things you're not gonna cross, and that's what you're gonna do. So here's what happened. So here's my update. So week one, from April 13th to the following Tuesday to Tuesday, I lost 4.4 pounds that first week. That was awesome. It was a little bit expected because sometimes when you put weight on really quickly, like I did the week before, that's usually water weight from too many carbs, which is exactly what it was, and it comes off fairly quickly. So that 4 pounds was most likely water. The 0.4 was the little bit of fat that my body was able to burn towards the end of the week after it burned all, got all the water off. So week 2 was what was really important, 3.2. I had no more water weight, that was all fat, 3.2 pounds. So in 2 weeks, I took off 7.6 pounds and I was over the moon. I was back in fat burn. I was feeling amazing. Enter little Miss Maisie May, the third week, our little puppy. So here's a few things that happened in that third week. I had a kind of a sinus infection. It wasn't a full-on infection, but I was dealing with a lot of sinus pain. Go lay down, Lucy. And so I felt a little run down. I also got my second COVID shot, which I really did good with. I didn't really have any bad side effects, although it did make me feel, just a little laggy, but not too bad. And then I got that on Wednesday, and then we went to First Monday on Friday, and we got little Miss Maisie May. Oh my gosh. So Thursday night was the last night of good sleep that I had. I barely got any sleep, you guys. So I got on the scale Tuesday. Now I had followed plan perfectly. Well, not perfectly. There were 2 days that I did not get my full amount of water in. And there was 1 day where I actually made the choice to have, and it was a choice, it wasn't a cheat. We don't use that word. It was a choice, not a good one, but it was a choice to have an additional optional snack 1 day. Just was hungry, probably more stressed than anything. And got on the scale that Tuesday, no loss at all. Now, I was a little puzzled by it because I thought, now I know I didn't get all my water in, but I did get probably close to 60 ounces in. And 1 extra optional snack for the week? Now come on, that's not gonna keep the scale from moving, is it? No, I knew better than that. I've been a coach long enough and I've been on this program long enough to know that, no, that's not gonna do it. So there was another reason. So I called my daughter, we talked it through, and she's like, well, Mom, it's pretty simple. Sleep, stress. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so when we don't get, because this is what y'all gotta understand about this program. This program is not just about what we put in our mouth. And this is gonna lead right into what I wanna talk about today. It's about creating habits, our macro habits of health. That includes more than just what we eat, okay? That is more than the number on the scale. Now, we need that number on the scale to move. That's our marker that we are, creating good habits, that we are making progress. But it's also about getting good sleep, having good sleep habits, because sleep is restorative. Our cells get restored in our sleep. Our brain rests, and that's why, when you're tired, you've got poor judgment and brain fog, okay? But whenever you don't get enough sleep, your body feels stressed, it feels run down. And so when you're feeling that way, our bodies protect us, and my body just held on to everything because of stress, because of lack of sleep. My body held on to everything. I did not lose an ounce, okay? That was a little disappointing, but it was understandable, okay? And it was a real teaching moment for me. It reminded me this is more than just what we put in our mouth. Okay, week 4, this week, my weigh-in for this week. I still was a little off on my sleep, but much better, much, much better. Got all my water in, did everything I needed to do, and I lost 2.2. So for the month, for the full 4 weeks, I lost 9.8 pounds, y'all. I was ecstatic about that. I'm super happy about that. I'm back in fat burn and I'm feeling really, really awesome, really positive, really encouraged. And that's my update. Okay, now, sorry, my iPad's going off. I'm gonna use that as an example later too. So many things. Okay, so the other thing that I wanna just real briefly get to is this. One of my viewers asked me that had watched one of my, I think it was a Let's Cook a Lean and Green that she watched. And I probably mentioned something about, you know, counting your macros for your condiments or things like that. Now here's what I wanna say before I go into that. In your guide, your 30-day Optavia guide you got, it lays it out perfectly, okay? It lays it out perfectly. You do not have to count macros to do this program. That's one of the beautiful things about it, is that we don't have to spend our brain energy, our willpower, our decision-making on those things. If you just choose the proteins that are listed in the right amounts, the healthy fats in that extensive list, I hope your coach sent you the extensive list of healthy fats and condiments, not just what's in the book. And if you choose the vegetables that are in the book in the right amounts, you don't need to concern yourself with macros at all, okay? The only time you need to think about the macro count is when you go outside the options given in that guide, okay? That's when it's important to know. So for instance, if there is a salad dressing, let's say, that's not listed on the healthy fats, but you think it might fit, you're like, I think this might work, you would want to know the healthy fat guidelines. If you choose something that's like a processed meat, like y'all, if y'all have watched me, you know that I use the chicken apple sausage by Sam's Choice. Well, I had to know that that was plan approved. So I needed to know the macro counts for our protein besides just the fat. You know, is there anything else I need to know? So these macro counts that I'm gonna give you are given to us by Nutrition Support, okay? So get a pen and write this down if you'd like to have these. I don't really know of a way, I don't have it saved in a PDF or anything like that, so I don't really have a way to post it unless I type it all out. So I could do that, and maybe I will, but just in case I don't, because my life's a little crazy right now, just in case I don't, write this down. All right, just hit pause, go get a pen and paper and write this down. Your macro counts for condiments is 30 calories or less, 1 carb or less. That's it. So if there's something that you want to try, a marinade, a sauce, a seasoning, whatever, as long as it's 30 calories or less, 1 carb or less, whatever amount that is, a teaspoon, a tablespoon, you can have it and count it as a condiment, okay? Healthy fat. Your book tells you, your guide tells you that healthy fats need to have 5 grams of fat. Yes, it's hard to get it right at 5 grams. So Nutrition Support says between 4 and 6. Between 4 and 6 grams of fat is what you need for a healthy fat. 45 to 60 calories, no more than 5 carbs. Okay, that's your healthy fat. Now, as far as your leans go, your lean, leaner, and leanest. All right, how to know if something is a lean or a leaner or leanest. And this is important if you are using some type of processed sausage or like the turkey meatballs or something like that. You need to know this because depending on where it falls, that's going to tell you how many to have or how much to have and how, you know, healthy fat, all that. So if you're using like a processed meat, you want any of your categories, lean, leaner, or leanest, it needs to have 25 grams of protein. If whatever meat you're choosing does not have 25, or any product for that matter, you know, tofu, you know, any non-meat products, whatever, it has to have 25 grams of protein. And you want to keep it recommended no more than 1,000 milligrams of sodium. My chicken apple sausage goes a little over that. That's why I don't have it very often, okay? Yeah, one of my clients, she gave me the phrase, halt the salt. If that scale doesn't move, halt the salt. So yeah, okay. Now, as far as how to know where it falls for fat content, okay. If it has 0 to 4 grams of fat, well, really 0 to 4.9, I would say. You want to get under 5 grams of fat. 0 to under 5 grams of fat is going to be a leanest, okay? 5 to 9 is a leaner. 10 to 20 is a lean. Do not go over 20. So if you find some type of sausage and you get it up to 20, get a portion up to 25 grams of protein, which it would have to be, and that pushed the fat to 25, can't have it, okay? I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's get to the topic of the day for this Coach's Corner. It's all about choices, guys. It's all about choices. We know this. We know every single thing we do every single day is a choice, all right? There are things that are just automatic. For instance, brushing our teeth. We don't get up and belabor over the choice to brush our teeth. It's just an automatic choice because it is an ingrained habit. It's an ingrained habit. How did it become such an ingrained habit? It's something we consistently did over time. Consistently. That's how we're going to create new habits, you guys. It's that simple. All right, but let's dig into it a little bit. All right, so there are 3 kinds of choices. I didn't know this. There are 3 kinds of choices: fundamental, primary, and secondary. Okay, let's talk about primary and secondary first. All right, so actually, I'm going to go ahead and talk about fundamental. So our fundamental choice, think of it in terms of a pyramid. Okay, so your fundamental choice is going to be what's at the top of the pyramid. Your fundamental choice is that thing that you're willing to sacrifice for, what you want to achieve, that ultimate goal. Okay, we try to get you to really think about your why. All right, because that's where your resolve is, and that's what I view as your fundamental choice. It's your resolve. It's the decision to do this, to become a healthy person, to be optimally healthy, okay? So that's your fundamental choice, all right? Your primary choice is what's in the middle there. All right, those are things that are gonna support that fundamental choice. Things like, all right, if I wanna be optimally healthy, what do I need to do? I need to lose weight, because I have to have a healthy weight. I need to drink more water because hydration is so important in losing weight and overall health. I need to have good sleep habits. I need to know how to manage stress. I need to have healthy surroundings, community support. I need to have healthy motion. All right, you see what I'm pointing to? What are these? These are our macro habits of health. Those are our primary choices. Okay, our primary choices. Our secondary choices are our action. Those are at the bottom of the pyramid. And y'all, that's where the work is. That's where the work is, okay? So let's think about that for a second. All right, so if my fundamental choice is I wanna be a healthy person, I wanna be optimally healthy. And then, okay, so my primary choice is I want to lose weight, so I've got to, eat healthy. I've got to drink water, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what are my secondary choices? My secondary choices are every single day, 80 ounces of water, no matter what. No matter what, okay? Eat healthy, that's the 5 in 1. I see a cupcake, that's not my food. Not my food. I've drawn a line in the sand. That's what my daughter said to me. Where are we going to draw the line in the sand, Mom? And I'm going to talk about that in a second. This was so cool. Okay, so do you see how my secondary choices, which are my action steps, are promoting and supporting my primary choice, which eventually leads to my ultimate choice, my fundamental choice. So when I got on the scale the 13th of April and saw that I'd gained those 4 pounds back, and I looked in the mirror and said, what do you want? What was I doing? I was basically calling on that fundamental choice. I was asking myself, what is your fundamental choice, Melissa? What is it that you want? Do you want license to eat whatever you want, whenever you want? If you're having a bad day, grab a donut. Is that what you want? you know, and the consequence of that, because every action has a consequence? Or do you want the freedom to walk through your life, the rest of your life, as a healthy person, doing for yourself what you know is good, which is going to be good for your family, being strong, not just you know, surviving, but, you know, as they say, thriving? Well, yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. So my resolve was strong, you guys. Even in the midst of puppy stress, no sleep, feeling a little lagged, and then this last week, y'all, some additional stress that's super, super personal that I'm not ready to talk about. It's you know, I don't want to make it sound like, ooh, but yeah, some things happened. And I had to really call on that resolve, you guys. I really had to call on that resolve, that fundamental choice. You know, one of the very first chapters of the book is about, are you ready? Are you ready to make a change? That's what that fundamental choice is all about, you guys. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Okay. All right, let me talk to you a little bit. Let me give you some like real life examples. Okay. So, he gave a great one. Hang on, I want to pull it up in the book. Hold on. So when we decide we're going to, you know, reach this fundamental choice, and we set out our primary choices, we set out our secondary choices, which are our action steps. All right, we're going along, we're doing great, and then bam, life hits. He gives a scenario. I'm going to read this scenario because I think we can all, what is my hair doing? I hope it hadn't been like sticking straight up this whole, oh, y'all, I'm such a squirrel. Okay, we've all had that. I think we can all relate to what I'm about to read. All right, you're eating healthier, you've started a walking program, and things are beginning to change. In fact, you're rocking it, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. Then one Friday afternoon, you're planning on leaving early for a long weekend out in the country, and your boss walks into your office, dumps extra work on your desk, and says he needs it right away. Been there? Yeah. Or something like it? Yeah. You stomp down to the break room, grab some coffee, and before you know it, you wolf down 3 donuts. In an instant, your good intentions and hard work evaporate. You walk back to your office lamenting your weakness once again. You've succumbed to temptation. Needless to say, the weekend turns from hikes and salads to generous helpings of cheese and wine by the fireside, all while feeling a little bit depressed. Why do these things happen? Here's why, you guys. It's simple. It's simple. You came into this world with an ancient mind that's being asked to function in a modern world. Now, he touches on this in the very beginning when in the little section called "It's Not Your Fault You're Struggling," when he talks about our prehistoric brains living in a modern day world, you know. So this is it. All right. So our ancient brains are focused on immediate gratification, and they needed to be, okay, because that was the world we lived in. We had to respond immediately, you know, because habits form in a loop, okay? It's cue, routine, reward, okay? And our ancient brains had to respond like that for a couple of reasons, mostly survival. Example, a tiger, you run, safety. There's no decision to be made. It's immediate gratification. Hungry, eat, full, okay? And there was no long-term planning, okay? We didn't, our ancestors did not plan for the future. Most of them didn't live past 30, okay? It was all about survival. It's not like that anymore. So now we are asking our brains to do certain things, habits, these daily actions, with no immediate gratification, none. Okay, what I mean by that? The things we're asking our body to do are our secondary choices. Those things down at the bottom are action steps. An example of that, for me, 80 ounces of water. Because those things, though they support my primary choice, they're not things that I enjoy. All right, it's not necessarily something that I want to do or would do otherwise. The only reason I'm doing it is to support what I really want, which is to lose weight, get healthy, stay healthy, manage my diabetes, all those things. That 80 ounces of water is a means to an end, okay? But that end is way out here. I don't drink 80 ounces of water and lose 20 pounds. No, I drink 80 ounces of water for 7 days and maybe lose 2 pounds. You see what I mean? Our brains are trained for instant, immediate gratification, and we're asking our brains to wait. So why did we succumb to the donuts? Because it was an immediate response. Stress, donut, feel better. See? So let's keep going. So he tells us what we have to do. We got to bridge the gap, all right? Because we have our present self, which is looking for that immediate gratification, and our future self, which we're asking, we can see ourselves in the future at that healthy weight, being that really fit person, but we're not there yet. These little things we're doing are going to get us there, but we're not there yet. So you got to bridge the gap. Well, the way to bridge the gap is you've got to provide short-term incentives for those action steps that we're taking, okay? And he gives some pretty, I think he gives some pretty good advice here. First of all, he says because those action steps are our habits, all right? Those are our micro habits of health. I'm gonna, eat healthy. I'm going to improve my hydration. I'm going to manage stress. All those things, those are macro habits. Now we got to do a lot of micro habits that support that reach that goal. You understand? So those micro habits are our action steps, and we have to associate them with an immediate gratification. Okay. First of all, we got to keep them simple, achievable, doable. Don't set yourself up for failure. Like if I had started this on day one and said, I'm going to drink 100 ounces of water, which is what I weighed 205 pounds when I started this program. So they say you can have up to half your body weight in ounces in water. So I could have had 102 ounces of water and been safe on that. That would have been what I should have done, the maximum. I wasn't a water drinker. I hated water. Ugh. Getting 64 ounces, which is the minimum, felt daunting. If I had set myself up with 100 ounces, no, I would have given up on that so quick, y'all, and then I would have felt like a failure. So first of all, set your action steps within the program, but doable, achievable. And then he tells us you want to give yourself some type of incentive, okay? And he's pretty clever about some of the things he says to do. So for instance, one thing he says, if you're working on healthy motion, for instance, but you don't really enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like you've got this great Peloton or this exercise bike or whatever, and you need to do it. It's going to promote your macro habit of healthy motion that's going to lead to your fundamental choice of optimal health, but you don't enjoy it. You don't want to do it. You got to incentivize yourself. So he says, what do you enjoy? Well, I have a favorite program on TV that I love to watch. Don't miss it. I tape it every day or whatever. Okay, then the only way you're going to watch that program is when you do your 30 minutes on your treadmill or on your bike or whatever. So you attach it to something. You attach it to something that's good, and that does give you an incentive. The other thing you can do, all right, is instead of, I'm not going to get an immediate gratification out of saying no to the donut. All right, you know what I mean? It's like, just saying no to the donut doesn't feel good. You want the donut or whatever it is. If you don't like donuts, don't let this deter you. Whatever it is, whatever your drug of choice is, because that's what it is, guys. So you have to say no. So what is the immediate gratification of saying no? It's kind of almost turning it on its head a little bit. So you say to yourself, okay, if I eat the donut, then I have a sugar crash later. I'm going to have no energy this afternoon. It's probably going to upset my stomach. It's going to definitely increase cravings. So it's going to make it really hard for me to get back on my plan. So you see what I'm saying? You're attaching that thing that you know you shouldn't do with negative consequences. Y'all, it's all about the brain. You've got to think. We have to be mindful, okay? All right, so I told y'all that habits are formed on a loop. You have cue, routine, and then reward. All right, our phones All right, our phones are a great example of this. Text messages, or let's just say notifications, text alerts, Instagram alerts, email alerts, all those things, okay? Most of our phones are set up to notify us when we get a notification on Facebook, when we get an Instagram notification, an email, a text, whatever. So we hear a bell or a little chime or whatever it is, that's our cue. Oh. And we automatically pick it up. That's our routine, and we read it. And what's the reward? Well, we gained information. If it's an email or a text, if it's a post we made, we might get a little thumbs up, approval, whatever. So there's a reward. Y'all, cell phones hadn't been around that long, and I'm gonna tell you, it is like almost uncontrollable. You hear it, you grab it, you do it. I mean, you can almost not control it, and it becomes it's a detriment, all right? So, but it's an example of how easily something can become a habit and just become automated. All right, I'm gonna give you a positive example, okay? Now, this is something that my husband did, okay? 2 years ago this June, Scott gave up tobacco. He was a dipper. He dipped chewing tobacco, and he did for 40 years, okay? It was a very deep-seated addiction, okay? He made the decision to quit. His fundamental choice was to become a non-tobacco user, and his resolve was strong. His resolve was strong. He had a lot of prayer, a lot of family support, everything we could do. All right, so here's something Scott did. When he was home and he had the temptation or the desire for a dip, Scott would do push-ups. Not a lot, just a few. All right, there's a couple of reasons for that. The tobacco released chemicals in his brain. It was like a chemical reaction. It's a drug. And serotonin, dopamine, all those things that make you feel good, make you calm down, make you feel happy. All right? Exercise does the same thing. And so he knew, get up, be physical, do something physical. It's going to relieve that tension. It's going to, he knew exercise would relieve tension. So that's what he did. Every single time he felt the desire to have a dip, he would do push-ups. So much so that we're almost 2 years in June to him quitting. No more desires for nicotine. He's not trying to break the habit anymore, but guess what? He still does the push-ups. He created a habit. Now, here's another habit he has, and he incorporated that good habit into that one. It's almost, he just combined the two. So Scott wears a cross, a wooden cross around his neck. You don't ever see it because it's under his clothes. It's on a long cord, and it's a little wooden cross, and you just can't see it. I mean, he didn't wear tight clothes or anything, so you don't see it. But he always has it on. And the only time he takes it off is at night when he goes to bed, or obviously if he gets in the shower, but he takes it off at night. So Scott developed a habit of every time he took it off or every time he put it on, he would say a prayer, okay? That became a habit. Well, he does the same thing. He incorporated the push-ups into there. So in the morning, when he puts it on, he says his prayers, and then he does push-ups. At night, when he takes it off, he says his prayers, and then he does his push-ups. Y'all, he's a creature of habit. I've always said that. But so now he has a cue. The cue is taking the cross off. The routine is the prayer and the push-ups. And the reward is he starts his day great. He feels strong. The reward, he's got some pretty strong shoulders now. And it's increased his prayer life. All right? Do you see how it works? So that's what we have to do, you guys. We have to have the cue, the routine, and then the reward. The problem we have is that we want an instant reward. Well, Scott got an instant reward. He did. It was the release of the serotonin, all right? Guess what? We get that instant reward too. We just are not accustomed to it. When I am eating on plan 100%, getting my water in, when I'm doing all those secondary choices, guess what happens? My energy goes up. My skin brightens. My sleep gets better when I don't have a puppy waking me up every 2 hours. I'm a happier person. My mood is better. All of that. And then, of course, the scale does move. So we actually do get instant gratification. We just got to look for it. All right. So let's keep going, because we all know those moments are going to happen, like the girl, or like the person that he described in the office. All right. So we're going along, we're doing good, and that happens. All right. So what do we do in that moment to stop it? All right. Now I'm going to talk to you about something about our brain. And this was really eye-opening to me. Our brain. We have 3 brains. Did you know that? Actually, we have 3 parts to our brain. All right, so the oldest brain we refer to as the lizard brain. That's our automatic. All right, that's our habit maker. That's our habit maker, that lizard brain. So when I talk to you about brushing our teeth, that's something we do automatically. That happens in our lizard brain. We don't think about it. Driving. Have you ever gone your route to work and you get there and you're like, God, I don't even remember doing that? Yeah, because it's in your lizard brain now. It's an automatic response. That route to work, you've done it so many times, over and over and over, it becomes automatic. How many of you have ever experienced that? I know I have. Okay, that's our automatic brain. And it also controls things like breathing, just things we do. We don't have to think to take a breath. It just happens. All right, then the second part of our brain is the Labrador. Did you know you had a lizard brain and a dog brain? The Labrador, and that's our reactive brain, all right? That's our emotional brain. That's the brain that caused you to eat the donuts. We reacted immediately. Stress, feel better, donut. There you go. So that's our emotional brain. That's where we react. Okay. Then the third part of our brain is our human brain, our thinking. That's where our willpower and our discipline is. So how do we bridge the gap from our Labrador, our emotional reactive brain, to our thinking brain? How do we bridge that gap and do it consistently enough that those actions that we're doing in willpower and in discipline become part of our lizard brain? Well, consistency, period. You do it over and over and over. And Dr. Anderson has given us an amazing tool to stop those thoughts in our, in our Labrador brain, take them straight to our human brain, all right? And it's called, and you've all heard it, or you should have, and if you haven't, there's an ebook, and let me know, and I'll find a way to get it to you, but it's called Stop, Challenge, and Choose, okay? So stop, challenge, and choose. What does that mean? That means, let's use the donut example. She's sitting at her desk, feeling good. She's been doing great on her program. And bam, work laid on her desk, totally ruined her plans. She's upset, emotional, goes down to the break room, gets a cup of coffee, and there's the donuts. Coffee was fine as long as you don't add a lot of cream and sugar. Gets the coffee, there's the donuts. So what do we do? Our reactive brain, our Labrador brain, just grabs the donuts and eats them because we want to feel better. We want that immediate gratification. You stop. That's the first thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, because I've done this enough. If you stop, you're going to win. It's when we don't stop that we don't win. If you can get yourself to stop, then you challenge yourself and then you make your choice, okay? I'm going to tell you what my stop, challenge, and choose is, and I use it every time that I'm in a situation to do it. Now, I'm not saying that every time I've had a bad temptation, a bad day or whatever, I've used it. Obviously, I didn't in 2020 use it at all. Obviously, the week of April 2nd to April 13th, I did not use it. You don't gain 4 pounds when you're using your stop, challenge, and choose, okay? But here is mine, and I've used it a few times this month. So here's mine. Faced with a situation, you want it. I find that when I'm tired is when my willpower is the weakest. When I am tired, my willpower is the weakest. So I know that. I read a book in 2019 when I was doing this program called Resisting Happiness. It was either that one or Perfectly Yourself. I read both of them. I'm not sure which one this quote comes from. Both those books are written by Matthew Kelly. Read his books. They're awesome. But whichever book it was, the quote was, self-awareness is the key to self-control. Self-awareness is the key to self-control. And here's part of that. I am very aware that when I am tired, my willpower is weak. It's low, okay? So being aware of that, when I know I'm tired, I gotta be on top of it. I've gotta have my stop, challenge, and choose firmly in place. I gotta have it in my brain. I gotta be prepared. I gotta be ready, okay? So here's how I do it. If that were me in that situation, I see the donuts. All right, here's my stop, challenge, and choose, you guys. Stop. Donut. I really want the donut. Man, that's hard. That's hard to say no to that donut. Yeah, that is hard. Oh, it's really hard. I want that donut. It's gonna make me feel better for a minute. I want that donut. But God, that's hard. That's hard to say no. Yeah, it is. When I weighed 205 pounds, was that hard? Trying to find something to wear, just trying to get out of bed in the morning, having no energy, feeling bad about myself. Oh God, yeah, ooh. That was really hard. Yeah, okay, Melissa, choose your heart. Y'all, it's the easiest choice in the world. Once I get it there, that's the easiest choice in the world. The hardest part about stop, challenge, and choose is the stop, being mindful, okay? So we have to know ourselves. We have to be self-aware. So when I'm tired or when I'm dealing with extra stress in my life, because look, we all have stress every single day and it's not going anywhere. So it's very important to learn how to manage your stress. It could be through exercise, through, walking, through meditation, through prayer, through calling a friend. There's a lot of ways to work through your stress. Feel the feelings. Let yourself feel the feelings. That's what I'm learning. You got to float through those feelings, because if you don't, if you just stuff them down with the donuts, they're going to resurface. They're gonna come back up and then they're gonna cause more damage. Okay, so you gotta let yourself feel the feelings. You gotta float through them. You gotta have a stop, challenge, choose in place for yourself, you guys, because it's all about choices, period. After I'd gained the 4 pounds back, my daughter and I had that conversation, and she said, what are your lines in the sand, Mom? What is it that you're not going to cross? All right, those are called bright lines. And I told you all last Coach's Corner, I've been reading this book, Bright Line Eating. I recommend the book, you guys. All right, here's what I want you to understand. She's got a particular eating plan involved in that book. I'm not prescribing to her particular eating plan of what, I don't prescribe to her bright lines, but the philosophy on how to follow bright lines is excellent, okay? I did not know, because I wasn't in my book, is that Dr. Anderson also prescribes to the philosophy of bright lines, which bright lines is not actually a philosophy, it's a legal term. All right, I'm gonna go to the book and read what he writes about bright lines. And when I saw this, I was like, are you kidding me? So it's like all this information's been out there and I just haven't utilized it. In legal jargon, bright lines are the boundaries we create and enforce by drawing a line in the sand of what we can and cannot do. These are lines that cannot be crossed, okay? So let's talk about that. So what are some of the lines in the sand that cannot be crossed? Well, I am on the 5 and 1. That's my chosen method of weight loss, okay? So let's just focus on that. What are my bright lines? My bright lines are 3 condiments a day, no more. 1 optional snack a day, no more. Healthy fat according to my protein, no more, no less, okay? 5 to 7 ounces of protein depending on which I choose. You'll see what I'm saying? 3 servings of vegetables. And for myself, 80 ounces of water, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, okay? Those are my bright lines. Each month, my bright lines can shift, can grow, okay? But these are the things, basically your bright lines are your secondary choices. Those are those action steps at the bottom. And only you can decide what they are beyond the protocol of 5 and 1. All right? So where is your bright line? Is your bright line that I'm going to follow the 5 and 1 precisely? That's it. Those are my bright lines. I won't cross it. Or is your bright line, I'm going to follow everything except this? That might be your bright line. I'm not going to recommend it. I'm going to recommend that your bright lines be the program. Because look, somebody way smarter than me and you created it. And I'm here to tell you it works. It works. Okay, so let's just summarize. All right. In threes here, we have 3 choices. Our fundamental choice, which is our resolve. That is our decision. Why it's doing the 5 and 1. We decided to sign up as a client. We got a coach. We ordered a kit. That was our fundamental choice, to be optimally healthy. All right? That's what we decided to do. That's our resolve. Our primary choices are our macro habits of health. That means we're going to get healthy sleep, healthy motion, healthy nutrition, okay? Our secondary choices are our action steps. How are we gonna do that? Well, we're gonna eat 5 fuelings a day. We're gonna get a minimum of 64 ounces of water a day. Those are our secondary choices, okay? How are we gonna keep our Labrador brain in control? Stop, challenge, choose. How are we going to create those habits like my husband did? How are we going to make these things automatic? Scott is automatic. He takes off that cross, he prays, he does push-ups. It's an automatic thing for him. How are we going to create automatic habits? Consistency. Okay, guys? I hope I wasn't too all scattered all over the place, you guys, because, and I hope this was beneficial to you. I know it seemed really basic, but you guys, this program is really basic. But that doesn't mean, look, something can be simple, but not necessarily easy, all right? But what I want you to understand is it's all here, okay? The mind work is the work that has to be done. Following a program, following rules, eating what you're supposed to eat, you're going to lose the weight. But if you don't do the mind work, if you don't have that mind shift of understanding how to create a habit, how to make this long lasting, it's going to take you a lot longer to get to your goal, or you're going to be like me and get to your goal and lose your goal and come back to your goal. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, you guys. Draw the line in the sand. Find your bright lines and don't break them, okay? All right, guys, this was Coach's Corner. I hope y'all are doing great. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. If you have any questions, please let me know. And until we get back together again, as always, you guys stay safe and stay well. And get in your books. Get in your books. Y'all have a great day.